Hello Super Sentai fans, and welcome back to my Project Unlock series here on Toku Topics. We have another one. So, if you are familiar with the Ranger Key toy line, or at least the premium Memorial Key toy line here, there were two big releases, two expensive releases in the month of January 2023. It is now February 2023, so kind of the structuring of this is so strange because I still haven't done at the time of this video, which I'm recording. You should be seeing it, I think, the day before. I'm still at home to do some filming for school and everything like that, so it's been chaotic. But that all aside, I still haven't done my actual review of the Gokaiger unit, which was my last Project Unlock episode, released at the time of this video last week. But this came out at the same time, essentially, and Toku Collectibles, just like they shipped with that one, shipped this one so quickly. So this set is weird. It will also get its own proper review as well, but this set is certainly interesting here, so I'm not going to waste any more time here. We're going to go ahead and open it up here. This is, as of right now, for a pretty good amount of time, this is going to be the last Ranger Key unboxing of a Memorial Edition item, of a new item, until May, which is going to be... oh, it's going to be interesting, because in May, as kind of a graduation from college and 22nd birthday gift to myself, we have the Memorial Edition Gokai Saber and Gun coming out in May, which I'm still paying for, actually. So, but this one, this got announced back in August of 2022, and let's open it up here, and I have some mixed feelings on this set. Okay, we got it out there, so I was just trying to move the box out of the way without like showing my address or anything, so we're still gonna need the cutters. But this one is pretty self-explanatory. It's not the most fancy premium Bandai shipper box, but these never are. But this is Ranger Key Series Memorial Edition Anniversary Heroes and Donbrothers set. So it's a cool set. So it's an expensive set. I think... I'm pretty confident that this was more expensive than the Gokaiger unit, which was more expensive than the Gokai Cellular, which was more expensive than the Mobiarts. So this stuff is just getting more and more expensive. And I love this set because of the fact that it has 6 brand new Ranger Keys in it. It has 6 Donbrothers Ranger Keys, which is super cool. However, the reason why I have mixed feelings about it, which we'll just go ahead and open it up, is that the way that they structured this set, it's one of the weirdest themed Ranger Key sets we've ever had. But the thing is I wouldn't really say that it's skippable, per se. It's not the most useless Memorial Edition item that they've released so far, because that is still going to go to the 35 red set. That set has been made even more useless because of this one in particular. So I cannot, and I never really did at the time, recommend that set unless there's a very specific circumstance in which you would want it. But what they've done here is that since Donbrothers was the 46th Super Sentai series, they decided to do an anniversary set of all of the seasons of Sentai that had 6 in them. So the 6th Sentai, the 16th, the 26th, the 36th, and the 46th. I don't know why. And that created a very weird lineup in here. So this lineup is, if I can open the shipper box, which is always kind of a pain sometimes, but here we go. We're in. So... 2 expensive Ranger Key purchases arriving within a week, or not even within a week. These arrived like 48 hours apart, so which was nuts. And I got this actually, so I'm recording this on Sunday, but I got this delivered on Thursday. It's just been a crazy week. But this lineup includes Goggle-V, Jew Ranger, Hurricaneger, Go Busters, and Donbrothers. And so... oh, so loud, all the tissue paper. Ooh, I mean, the box, though... that's... okay, that is pretty sweet. So there is the box for the Ranger Key Set Memorial Edition Anniversary Heroes and Donbrothers set. So you get these 6 Donbrothers right there, with Tyranno Ranger, Hurricane Red, Goggle Red, and Red Buster. Which is just, like I said, a strange lineup. I get what they're going for with this, but there's that. On the side, you see all the keys in here, which if I remember correctly, if I can do some quick math, I think there are there 30 keys in this set? 5, 6, 6, 5, 6, so 6, 12, 18, 28 keys then, right? 28. So yeah, there's 28 keys in this set, so almost 30, if I did that math correctly. So it's also a weird one because it's not really going to, and unfortunately all of my Memorial Edition Gokaiger stuff is up at the dorm, but it's not going to match the other ones perfectly, because like on the side it has this lineup of keys, and it is labeled Memorial Edition, so there is that. On this side it kind of keeps in that theme of like the floating ranger keys that are part of the set, but it still kind of breaks it up a little bit. So as you can see, you have a ton of floating keys, probably a good majority of the keys that are in this set, with the Donbrothers kind of getting the main focus. And I'm saving the back for a second because it's my favorite part. But on the top, you get the Don. Well, I was gonna say it's the Don Momotaro symbol. It is, but the Donbrothers symbol. On the bottom, if you weren't sure which the keys were the main focus here, you have the 6 Donbrothers, and then on the back you have this photoshopped image of all of those teams standing in a quarry together. Which, I mean, is a pretty, I wouldn't say crudely photoshopped image, but you can tell that they kind of just threw this together to put something there, and it's not bad. But the reason why I have some qualms with this set is that some of the keys in here I just don't want. Like, obviously I want this because you have 6 brand new Ranger keys in it that are exclusive to the set with the Donbrothers. However, I don't know how many people are going to necessarily need and or want all of these other duplicate keys of keys that have come out before. Though, to that point, there are some keys in here that I'm really happy are in here, like the rest of Goggle-V, because the rest of Goggle-V, back in the original regular, original run of Ranger keys, those were all Gashapon exclusives besides Red. I have those, but those were part of the Legend Edition set from 2013, so those all have Gashapon sticker chests, which are the worst. And then for the Zyuranger team, all of those were so weirdly released with Candy Toy and Gashapon. I still don't have, well I guess I do now, but I don't have a Terra Ranger or Tiger Ranger Gashapon key, so I never had those keys before, so I finally have a full Zyuranger team. Hurricaneger and Go-Busters are really the ones that I'm kind of more iffy about being in here, because they did upgrade the Hurricaneger keys, so that is nice. They also did upgrade the Zyuranger keys. So the Zyuranger, Goggle-V, and Hurricaneger keys in here are the definitive versions of those keys that you can possibly get. But what that does is that it makes the Goggle Red, Hurricane Red, Tyrannoranger key, etc. from the 35 Red set, and even the Red Buster key from the After Gokai set, completely meaningless. So that is a little annoying, not gonna lie. And this is an interesting thing because it's these are pretty though. These are very pretty. It's an interesting thing because this kind of set up the idea that we're gonna keep getting every key ever again re-released. Is that key individually wrapped in a bag? I'm just noticing stuff. It's just, yeah, Don Momotaro is individually wrapped in a bag. That's quite strange. But here on this very reflective tray, which maybe you can see it. Obviously this is not the full review. This is going to get its own full review soon. But as you can see here, trying to adjust the light, it says Memorial Edition, and the first tray is the 6 Donbrothers, and of course I didn't really get to show it off here, but you get 3 trays inside of that box. So the first one has the 6 Donbrothers. Why is Don Torbolt not in here? I have no idea. Same thing with Don Murasame. Pretty much anybody else back here is a Torbolt, Murasame, the Noto. I would love to get keys for those, but we unfortunately don't have them in this set. They technically could have been in this set because we have Dragoku, so we totally could have had Torbolt. But this is the part that everybody probably cares about. And then in here, we have the 5 Goggle-V members, and then the 6 Zyuranger keys. Which, like I said, I don't necessarily mind these because this is upgrading Gashapon keys to not even a deluxe quality, but to a memorial quality. So they have the auto flip button and everything, which is a really, really nice touch. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever had a Tiger Ranger or Terra Ranger key. But then you have things like Dragon Ranger, right? Dragon Ranger already had a memorial key released in the Gokai Cellular. So I don't really... now I have 2 Memorial Dragon Rangers, which I don't really need. This is the definitive Tyrannoranger, but I have like 5 of that key now. So it's kind of strange and weird. And then in here, we have the 6 Hurricanegers, which pretty much only red, blue, and I think red, blue, and yellow are the only ones that have upgrades. Kawaga Ranger and Kabuto Ranger and Shurikenger I don't really think do. Shurikenger's original key release was a different shade of green than this, for sure. And also, it had, I'm pretty sure he was the one that had the copyright information from Deluxe Key Set 5. So he gets a little bit more of an upgrade here in that regard. And then Beat and Stagbuster are fully painted metallic and stuff now. And of course, all of these technically have an upgrade in the fact that they have the Memorial Edition flip, which I don't mind that. I don't necessarily actually mind if we're going to re-release every single key ever with the auto flip, especially because there's such a big gap of keys I don't have, and if we're going to upgrade gold and silvers to actual metallics and stuff like that, I'm all for it. But, and it's also, if that's how we're going to keep getting new teams, sure, okay. But it's just kind of a weird kind of method of release here, and it's just a weird structuring of teams, but I'm not really going to focus on these keys too terribly much. The ones for the returning teams or the legend teams, because that would be what the full review is for, where I will compare them to not necessarily all of their previous counterparts, but at least kind of the most important ones. But I do want to look at this one. So this is Tyranna Ranger, and this key has definitely been upgraded now. You can just tell in the helmet department. Which, even though this is just the webcam camera and I can't really get a good look here on the Project Unlock episodes, he has a white trim around that visor now, which makes that key look infinitely better than it ever has before. And I have a candy toy version of this key, and I have a Gashapon version of this key, and I have a deluxe, and I have the metallic promotional bonus one, I have the original memorial version, I have the Super Mega Force version of this key. This is the definitive version, the first key that I think actually looks how it did in the show prop. And it's really good. I mean, for a Ranger key, it's pretty good. So I'm very, very happy about that. Oh, that was a little too easy to flip into a key. Ooh. I'm a little worried about the integrity of that one's hinge, but that one felt a little loose. But we have that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just put that tray back on. Actually, I'll show one last one. Here is Goggle Black, which I'm so used to having in a Gashapon capacity with the chest kind of ripping up and everything. And so to see a Goggle-V key with a deluxe hinge and to have a painted chest, this is gorgeous. So if we can get more keys like this, where they've upgraded the pre-Georanger teams, or pretty much anybody who was a Gashapon exclusive before, to where they have no longer chest stickers and have the full-on paint, that would be wonderful. And they don't have any of the copyright information on the stickers. This is how the Ranger keys should always have been. These look perfect. So in that regard, I'm all here for it with these kind of sets. Are we going to get more like this? I have no idea. As of right now, technically the Gokai Saber and Gun obviously come with Ranger keys, but this is the final revealed Ranger key set. But it's not the end of the Ranger keys, because while they were showing off the packaging for this on the Bandai blog, that's when they teased that Kinoja Ranger key silhouette, which at the time of this video, we still haven't officially seen how that's going to work. I hope that this doesn't make this video age badly, because I'm recording it on Sunday morning. I'm going to edit it somehow when I'm trying to do all this stuff with sets and everything today. So you're going to see it hopefully on Monday. And they announce stuff on Sunday nights on Premium Bandai, so hopefully they haven't like shown off that set here and make this video infinitely out of date instantaneously. But regardless if that's happened or not, we know we're getting Kinoja Ranger keys somehow. If it's going to be in a set like this again, I don't know. But here are the keys that I'm the most excited for. Abataro Sentai Donbrothers, and like I said at the very beginning, for some reason, Donbrothers is wrapped in a plastic bag. And I don't know if that's maybe because of the little hairpiece on the back of him there. But I gotta say, I did not expect when I saw, every single year, I joke whenever we get the trademark for a Sentai, I immediately tweet out, insert new Sentai name, Ranger keys when, and then I post that on Twitter. So, I got to a point where I was always sort of doing it as a joke, but then we got a Zenkaiser key in that set a year ago. I think already at this point, and then we got now this as a key, and we're getting at least a Kabuto, nope, not Kabuto, Kuwaga Oger from Kinoja. Wow. So like now those are not like just pipe dreams to say that every time we get a new Sentai now. We actually have, like in my hand right now, in front of my face, is a Ranger key from the, as of right now, still currently airing Sentai, even though Donbrothers is about to wrap up. That is gorgeous. Look at that key. Look at Donbrothers as a Ranger key. It captures the look so good, even though this camera is not really going to show it very nicely. We're going to have to wait for the proper review, but Oh, that looks so good. I don't know why I always hold these below like they're gonna fall or something, but come on. That one was a little stuck, but there it is. The Donbrothers Ranger key. And he's got his own little baggie, so I'll keep that off to the side. We'll briefly look at all the Donbrothers. So here is Oni's sister, which also looks really, really good. They've done a fantastic job of any of these like Gokaiger and Donbrothers keys that are not canon. They've done a really good job capturing the full suits. Now, of course, those two Donbrothers, Momotaro and Oni's sister, are the most humanoid-looking Rangers. And so the rest of the team is going to be adapted a little strangely to Ranger key formats. I think Saru Brother works pretty well. So there is Saru Brother's Ranger key, which I'm also quite a fan of. The paint detailing looks good. There it is. I didn't really show it off on camera properly whatsoever. Perfect, perfect. Then we get to the weird ones. So we have Kiji Brother, which obviously is like, you know, he's a CGI tall, lanky dude. So turning him into a Ranger key is kind of strange, but it does kind of work. Like, obviously you don't have like kind of Slenderman looking proportions to him, but I think it still gets the point across reasonably well. Yeah, I mean, you got the little paint on the little toes and stuff there. And like this works. You can shrink him down into a Ranger key, and I think that it does work. They still kind of give him a little bit more of a bigger helmet and everything too. So I'm good with that. Where I don't like this choice as much is with Inu Brother here. Because they give Inu Brother... Wow, that's weird. So they give Inu Brother, you know, the full dog head on a Ranger key body. And I really, really wish, and so many people have brought this up in the past, but I really, really wish that they actually used the Usada Lettuce and Initan, I think is his name, the keys from the Buddy Roid set for the Go Busters, where they had the key kind of upside down, and they had the Buddy Roid at the bottom, and you kind of flip the key upside down to kind of create a smaller character in a key format. I really would have wished they would have brought that back for this, which makes me think that if we ever get those other Zenkaigers that have sounds programmed into the Memorial Edition of Pirates, they probably won't make the other 4 Zenkaigers using the mecha key bodies, which is kind of how everybody's always wanted them to do it, kind of give Inu Brother the Buddy Roid key body and give the Zenkaigers the mecha key body, but they didn't do it, which is just strange, so it just creates this very weird looking Inu Brother, but it's not terrible, I suppose. I'm just not the hugest fan of how they structured this key in particular. And then the final one we have here that's brand new is this really, really, really nice, wow, that's really nice looking Don Dragoku key. I do think they kind of squeezed his helmet in a little bit. It looks like it's a little like tall, like up and down. It looks like it's not as wide as it should be, so that looks a little strange. But the metallic gold is very, very nice on this key. The paint, the detailing. His also just looks a little strange because he has that shield piece, and so it's kind of like a Dragon Ranger or a, I guess, sort of Shurikenger as well, technically. But gold and silver keys are now fully gold and silver painted metallic, which is always a great touch there. So the last thing we're going to do here, even though this is not the full-on review where we're going to take a look at all of these keys, is that, sure, I know people are going to ask me, what did these keys, specifically the new Donbrothers ones, do in some Mobiretses? So we're going to bring in the original Mobirettes, and we're going to bring in the Memorial Edition Mobirettes, and take a look at least what Don Momotaro does in both of those. So I have the original Mobirettes here, the original 2011 release. Here's Don Momotaro. Okay. So keeping in the theme of how the post Gokaiger, or actually post Go Busters teas for the Memorial Edition Mobirettes, Kyoryuger through Zenkager, were kind of modified versions of Sentai Teen keys cuts from the past. I kind of went over this whole thing in my infamous What They Do video, so be sure to check that out to kind of show off like where all these key cuts are coming from past Sentais. So that's what that one does. So it looks like the Donbrothers key cut is based off of Denji Man. Now in the Memorial Edition Mobirettes, it's such an unfortunate thing because the Memorial Edition Mobirettes was announced in June of 2021, which obviously at that point Donbrothers was not a thing that existed yet. However, the Donbrothers trademark came out in like September, actually no, it was actually late. It was like November 2021, and the phone, the Mobirettes, came out in January 2022. Now, unfortunately, there is no Donbrothers sound in this toy. It kind of would have been cool for them to have squeezed it in there at the last minute, but this toy is already out of date with no Donbrothers and no Kinoger. They were able to get Donbrothers mentioned at least in the Memorial Edition Gokai Cellular, so at least there's that, but there's no Danger Goku sound in there. So here's what Donbrothers does in the Memorial Edition Mobirates. So it does unlock a brand new sound with the new hero sound. And that's kind of one of the more generic phrases from past releases of the Mobirates. So you still do get a new sound with the Donbrothers Ranger Key in the Memorial Edition Mobirates, but you're not going to get a Mobirates voice screaming Donbrothers, which is unfortunate, but obviously to be expected. It's very, very fascinating to me that they are continuing Ranger Keys with Donbrothers and with Kinoger. So I'm very curious to see, are we going to get another Mobirates someday, maybe for the 50th or something that will do this? Will they ever finally just release a Mobirates that could somehow be upgradable if they're going to keep releasing Ranger Keys? Because this format just doesn't really work for upgradability. Now granted, I have 4 Mobiratses, so I'm perfectly fine with continuing to buy more if they're going to just keep adding more team phrases to this. And obviously the thing I want them to do the most is keep making more Ranger Keys at the very least. So while these ones are not really going to be able to do a lot of stuff, they're really cool to have nonetheless. So this is going to do it for this episode of Project Unlock here, the little unboxing of the Anniversary Heroes in Donbrothers set. I know I kind of went over the whole thing anyway, but there will be a proper review of it for you guys to get good close-up looks and comparisons between the original versions of these Ranger Keys and the new versions of these Ranger Keys and all that kind of stuff there, and you know, a lot more detail and better video quality and everything like that. So once again, here is the key counter at the end of this episode. It has not changed at all because I always factor these pre-order items in when I pre-order them, so there is that for this episode. And that is going to do it for this episode of Project Unlock here. So let me know down in the comments below, did you pick up this set? How do you think they're going to structure the Kinoger sets? Do you think it's going to be like this with anniversary teams for like all the Sentais ending in 7 or something like that? Who knows? But let me know down in the comments below anything you want to say about this set or Ranger Keys in general. And of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LiveRangerKey or LightningFigPR. And I'll see you all in Project Unlock, where we're always searching for the next key. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brandon Overland, Maji Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comics 1017, James Dartley, Monster Rocket, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Brzezski, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, and Pyramidas. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, link in the description below.